Every pregnancy needs utmost care and attention. But certain pregnancies need a little extra attention. An Rh negative mother carrying an Rh positive baby is at increased risk of complications. BSV is at the forefront to ensure safe delivery in every Rh negative pregnancy.
Hello and welcome to the Outside View presented by Women's Cricket Zone and brought to you by BSV, Puma, Food and Wellness, MRI Hospitals and MPL Sports Foundation. So after an intriguing tournament that we've witnessed so far, so many close matches, so many tense moments, we finally have our finalists of this tournament in England and Australia. It's going to be interesting, of course. England didn't have a very good outing in the initial stage of this tournament, but found their ways. Australia have shown their domination. So to discuss that match, I have alongside me Brittany and Dane. Welcome both of you. So let's just talk about the team who isn't believing in anything less than domination. That's Australia. Brittany, how dangerous they are looking right now at this moment, because we've seen they've won all their group stage matches. They won the semi-final comfortably. They are the number one ODI ranked side. Everything probably going on a very right note for them.
Yeah, Australia final been set up perfectly. As you said, they come into this final unbeaten, winning their semi-final very convincingly against West Indies, and their batters or bowlers have been tremendous in terms of getting the wickets and scoring runs. So it's going to be I believe it's going to go very hard in this final against England.
And of course, we are talking about the good form of Australia, and we know that they entered this tournament as favourites as well, winning 31 of their 33 matches since the 2017 ODI World Cup. But that sometimes goes in as a pressure as well for some teams that are termed as favourite, but it didn't seem with Australia. Ever since they've lost that semi-final against India in 2017, that has been such a wake-up call for them that they've never looked back since then.
Yeah, look, they have been dominating. That's a fact. But I just keep on thinking, when's the bad day gonna come? Because it doesn't look like the bad day wants to come. So it's gonna be interesting to see at the final what's gonna happen. I said earlier that I think this final is going to be battle of the batters. Especially when you look at the last group match again, when these two teams met. It was high scoring and a very entertaining game. So yeah, I think it's going to be a battle of the batters. But Australia's gone really well. They've got all their bases covered, but also England at the moment has massive momentum. Almost winning every single game that they had to get into the final. So I think it's going to make for a very, very good final.
Battles of the battles, Dania has termed that for us. But if you talk about England they've been away from home for such a long period of time since the Ashes. And we know that Australia dominated the proceedings against them in the Ashes. So, but they wouldn't want to think about that. They know that it's a World Cup, and as Dani says, that it's a altogether different ball game. So England also have that momentum, and it's going to be a tough match. It's not going to be one-sided, Brittany.
No, it's not going to be one-sided at all. Both teams going to be coming into this final with confidence. I don't think either team should think about the games they played against each other in the past couple of months, or even before this final, because you don't want to have any negative thoughts in your head going to this final. You just want to go into this final and just play the cricket, because you've done all the hard work to reach here, and both teams will be coming into this finals with so much confidence. You see how England have been tremendous in the way they've come back into this tournament, and every player just been stepped up and been doing their role.
And when you talk about the team balance, we've seen that Australia have come up with different players coming in and stepping in for them in different times and doing the job for the side, of course. England, of course, know that they have a great challenge in hand for them. But if I have to talk about the players from the Australian setup, Dane, who has impressed you the most? I know there are a lot of players. Ashley Gardner, she didn't play the initial games, but then she came against New Zealand, performed well. Elisa Heady scored a century there. Meg Lannon has been in terrific form. But Who do you think is going to play a very important role for Australia in this final against England, and who has impressed you the most? Is there any player specifically?
Yeah, look, I think Rachel Haynes has quietly gone about her job incredibly well. She's got a wealth of experience, and the way that she's been batting at the top there has been very impressive to see. So, it got maybe performances maybe got overshadowed by some bigger scores or whatever, but just her consistency at the top. She doesn't look phased, and she's setting up games really well for them. And yeah, also the Ash Gardner effect. She's such a powerful cricketer, and yeah, she can change the game, in an over, whether it's with the ball or whether it's with the bat. So yeah, and one thing that's been very it's been stood out for me is Australia's catching. They've been outstanding. They've been outstanding every single game. And no doubt they obviously work really hard on that aspect, and you can see that they're also leading the way, in my opinion, with the catching as well.
Definitely, they've been very impressive on the field, as you rightly mentioned there, Danny. And we've seen that Australia have made a lot of changes to their playing 11 in this tournament, but that didn't hurt. Elise Perry's availability is still a question. We don't know if we're going to see her in the finals or not, but we saw in the semi-final as well. We didn't. Her absence didn't hurt the team because there are already a lot of players who didn't even make it to the tournament owing to injuries, and even despite that, Australia are putting themselves as a very formidable unit there, Brittany.
Yes, as you said, a lot of players got injured coming into this World Cup, and those are players who are normally in Australia starting 11, who are also seeded players who will be in the 11, and it just did not show up. It didn't show any weakness to Australia where they was missing those players, and it just goes to show the depth of Australia bench.
Definitely, and of course, if we have to talk about the England side, Daniel, in the semi-final against South Africa, we saw that Sophie Ecclestone once again coming in and getting those quick wickets for the side, 6 wickets to her account, and then registered her 5-wicket haul, of course. And then you saw Danny Wyatt getting into her form. We've seen that England weren't able to put some good partnerships there. Probably they are the only team in this tournament who haven't had a 50-run opening stand. But Danny White coming into good form. Sophia Dunkley was so impressive. So England looking good at this moment right now?
Yeah, they're looking very good. You want to peak at the right time, and they certainly are doing that. If I was them, I wouldn't change a thing. I won't change the personnel. I won't change anything. I'll go in with a confident side. Anya Shrapsall showed her class again, coming in. For Freya Davies, unlucky for Freya, I don't think she bowled badly, but I think the experience of Anya Shrapsall, in the past World Cup as well, you can't leave a player like that out. So if I was them, I'd keep it simple. I'll keep the same personnel and tell them to be a confident team, because that's what they've been showing.
So what are the predicted playing 11s of our experts? Let's see, Brittany. What do you think is the playing 11 that we're going to see from Australia? Is it going to be the same that we saw in the semi-final? Of course, the availability of Elise Perry is still in question.
I think that's where the question asks if Perry is available. I believe she will come in for Sutherland. I think that's the only change they will probably make. The fact that England is a very heavy right-handed team. Those left-hand leg-break bowlers going to be coming a lot handy. So I only see that's the only change in Australia's team. And for England, England is going to play the same team. I think it's vice versa. England heavy right-handers. Australia have some quality left-handers who have been scoring runs for them. So Charlie Dean going to be very, very important for England in the bowling department.
Your thoughts on the playing 11, Danny?
Yeah, I agree with Brittany. The only question mark is Elise Perry, and she'll straight swap for Sutherland. And yeah, I wouldn't change much if I was either teams. Take the confident players and put them in and let them try and win your World Cup.
So, after having witnessed a lot of exciting matches in this tournament, we have England and Australia as our finalists, and they'll lock horns with each other on 3rd of April. It's going to be an interesting contest. Let's see who lifts the trophy. Australia have 6 already, England have 4. We'll, of course, join you for the pre, mid, and post shows of that match as well. But until then, you stay tuned to Women's Cricket Zone for all the updates on women's cricket.